Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and in the most recent Nintendo Direct, they released a trailer, a teaser, a mere seconds of footage from the upcoming Volume 4 of DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which definitely answers some questions and poses a whole lot of new ones. And I thought it might be kind of fun to go through it, not frame by frame, but just discuss some of the things that I noticed and that it got me thinking. And I think one of the first things that we need to address is the fact that it looks like it's going to be a prequel. So before we start playing the footage, spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, obviously, and also 1 and 2. I'm going to certainly, throughout the course of this video, spoil everything about all 3 games. X will be fine, though. We're not going to delve into that today. Unless. No. But just if you've not played and completed all 3 games, be aware you're going to have some things spoiled. So I want to let the whole trailer play out, just give everyone a refresher before I say a single word about it. So we're just going to...
Is this really what you want? Nothing's going to get through to him. He's a heartless machine. Like killing Granddad wasn't enough for you?
Volume 3 of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
So, obviously appears to be a prequel. Raises a lot of questions. I'm assuming everyone has played through all 3 games if you're still watching, but just to answer some questions, I mean, first off, right out the gate, we open up with this really awesome shot here of a being that appears to almost unquestionably be Alvis from Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and kind of 2. If you don't know the origin of Alvis, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it is explained that the Aegises were born from processing cores that were part of the Trinity processor. And it basically had 3 cores. There was Ontos, Malos? Was it just Malos? It was Ontos, Numa. Malos was one of them, but I don't remember. I think it was called Logos. That's what it was. So you had Numa, Logos, and Ontos. So we know that 2 of those cores made it down to all rest from the space station orbiting the world, and they were awoken as blades, Malos and first Mithra, then Pyra, and then 2 separate entities by the end of the game, however that worked. And we're told that the 3rd one, there was like a space-time rupture event. I can't remember the exact wording, but the 3rd one went away to another universe, essentially, which is kind of the whole point of the 3rd game, is this other universe is coming back. There was debate early on after the release of 2 over whether or not you actually see Ontos in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which is dumb, because it's very obviously Alvis. And people argued that for 3 years, between the release of 2 and then 1 definitive edition on the Switch. For some reason, people argued that, even though it was very clearly, obviously the case. And then in definitive edition, they changed Alvis's little necklace with the key into... it's just a blade core crystal. It's very obvious that Alvis is Ontos. And that pretty much answered that question, although some people still argue it, but people argue about stupid things on the internet. So here he is, the 3rd processing core, the 3rd core from the Trinity processor, Alvis, and he is surrounded in this shot by flame.
Really what you want?
He's being yelled at by Shulk. Rex is here! Can we have a moment to appreciate gigachad Rex with his harem of women and his 3 babies, who all look to be about the same age? What a busy night he must have had. He is dual-wielding the Aegises. Listen, I love Xenoblade 1, but I'm going to be giving a bit more attention to 2 here, because that's my favorite game in the franchise so far. And he looks awesome here. He looks so awesome! I want to throw out, he does not have an eye patch. If that's relevant to any of you. Maybe he gets one at some point during this DLC. We're assuming that this is the game, right? Like, this is what we're going to be playing, but it's also perfectly possible that this is an opening cutscene, and what happens next is what we're playing through. We don't know. It could be the both. We're not sure, but he's dual-wielding the Aegis swords, so he's got Pyra and Mithra, so the 2 aspects of the Numa core. He looks awesome, and that's all I wanted to say. And he's got a new VA. I liked Rex's VA, but he was 15 in 2, so it might sound a little bit weird coming out of this gigachad. Listen to this man.
Nothing's gonna get through to him. He's a heartless machine.
Oh, and he's right, actually. Sure, we know that Malos has emotion, and Mithra Pyra have emotion. They're living, breathing beings capable of thought and the full range of self-expression and I guess human, you might say, experience. Not so with Alvis. As far as we can tell, Alvis was never awoken from his core crystal in the same way that Malos and then Pyramithra were. We're not really sure how he came to possess a physical being. Oh my gosh, look at it, actually. You can see it around his neck there. We're not really sure how that came to pass in 1, but we know that the reason that Malos in 2 is the way that he is because of who awoken him from his core crystal. And the same is true of Mithra/Pyra. They seem to have some sort of predetermined personality, because we know that Mithra is a scaled down version of what Numa could be with all of her powers. And in fact, if you look at them, Pyra and Mithra are like polar opposites, not because they're different, but because it's one lacking the other, if that made any sense at all. What a terrible way of putting that. All of the flaws in Mithra and all of the flaws in Pyra are fixed with the other because they're two aspects of the same being. But that raises the question of whether or not those personality aspects were already existent within the core, or whether or not those were, when Adam awoke the core, whether or not he transmitted. We know that's what happened with Malos. We know that that's why he's so mean and vindictive and hateful and spiteful and angry and wants to destroy the world, because of who awoken him from his core crystal. So we can assume similar with Pyra, Mithra. Alvis was never awoken in that way that we know of. He is literally, as Rex just said, he's just a machine.
Nothing's gonna get through to him. He's a heartless machine.
He absolutely is. Now, what is he doing in this scene? I have no idea. I cannot figure it out. What we know from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is that when the worlds were going to merge together, and everyone was going to get turned into a mote of light and saved inside of Origin, and then Origin would reactivate and rebuild the two worlds, the two universes on the other side of the merge, that didn't happen because all the collective fear, and this is how it's explained in 3 to my understanding, all of the collective fear of everyone living in the Shulkiverse? Whatever you call the world of the first game, the Shulkiverse, and then all rest from the second game, all of their collective fears created Mobius. However that works. And Mobius sought to alleviate the fears, or I guess address the fears of all the collective citizens by freezing the world. Because if the world's frozen, then nothing can ever change, and nothing changes, nothing can ever go bad, you never have to worry about an unknown future, because it's all the same in a constant unending cycle. That's sort of the plot of 3. And we know that that was caused by Mobius. And we think Zed, XYZ, if you look at the cutscene where Nia is explaining all of this, it definitely seems to imply that they were the first 3, and they were the ones who started this. We don't really get a lot of details on it. I kind of understand now why, because they're doing a DLC that seems to be addressing it. But what does Alvis have to do with this? Well, if you played through, and I don't know what relevance this has, it might not be relevant at all. We'll see in a number of months when this comes out. But we know that you never see a Mobius A. And that was something a lot of people addressed. It's like, there's no Mobius A. Surely A would be the first one. If Zed, he's at the end of the alphabet. Alvis? A. You see where I'm getting with this? Is it possible that Alvis is Mobius A? Why? I'm still not sure what they're yelling at him. First off, Shulk looks fantastic. I love the cape. That's a fantastic touch. Very Dunban-esque.
Is this really what you want? Nothing's gonna get through to him. He's a heartless machine.
It's also possible that they're not actually talking to Alvis. These could be... I'm pretty sure they are, but it could be unrelated. They could be shouting at someone else, and then it cuts to them looking at Alvis like... But I don't think that's what's happening. I think they are talking to him. Is it possible that Alvis, more machine, more robotic-like than the other two Aegises, unlike, Pyra, Mithra, Malos, maybe he heard the cries and the fear, and he seeks to, in his own mechanical way, alleviate that by freezing the world and not letting it unpause? Does he think that maybe there's a chance Origin won't work, And in that case, everything is lost forever. But if he can keep everything trapped in this state, this sort of stasis, then he's technically preserving life. Maybe something like that, where he thinks that, yeah, okay, it's better to not risk it and live in this constant cycle. I don't know. We'll find out when we play the game. Let's continue on to the second half of this trailer, because we then get a shot of some new territory here, very reminiscent of Xenoblade Chronicles. Let's go back to that. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 in particular here. Looking a lot like the Bionis, is it the leg, I think, is the first region you get to after you leave Colony 9. If I'm not, yeah, that would make sense, considering where you start off in that game. But yeah, this looks fantastic. I mean, that is what this is, looking at it. Unless I'm very much misremembering it. But I'm assuming this is going to be at least probably starting area, or one of the starting areas, part of the DLC that we're going to be exploring. And then we get a character that appears to be Proto-Noah, first version of Noah, leader of House Van Dam, if I'm not mistaken, judging by, well...
Like killing Granddad wasn't enough for you?
Like killing Granddad wasn't enough for you. What is that in reference to? First off, this is a different scene from the one we see here with our boys Rex and Alvis and Shulk. This appears to be a completely different location, a completely different time of day. So I don't know what Proto-Noah here is shouting about. I know he looks pretty sick, though. Loving that double earring and the glowing eye. And maybe he's transforming into an Ouroboros form, or he's got some sort of ghost being emerging from him. But I think he's transforming into a
Volume 3 of the
an Ouroboros, possibly. What? Who's what?
Like killing Granddad wasn't enough for you?
Who's Granddad? Who's your granddad, boy? I need answers from you. I need you to explain these things. So. I don't have any answers. Were you hoping for answers when you clicked on this video? No, I mean, I hope I've explained to you what's going on in this part. You know who Alvis is now and where he came from, and we've gushed. Oh, also, these outfits are absolutely freaking-tacular. I'm loving them. They're looking great. But...
Tell me why? Is this really what you want? Nothing's gonna get through to him.
I could watch this for hours. I've watched this so many times.
Like killing Granddad wasn't enough for you?
What is this? Yeah, so I just looked it up again to double check, and this does look a lot like the entity who is the founder of House Van Dam. Just looking at the statue here. Oh, he's the brother of the founder of House Doyle. Here's some lore for you about who I think this character is. This is from the game, okay? The founder of House Doyle's brother, the founder of House Van Dam, fought against N directly. That's also Noah. When he attacked the city, having beaten N... Spoilers. The founder took the remainder of the city's people and remade their settlement out of the ruin. The founder left the new city in the hands of his sister and was never seen again. This guy's got a lot of family. Got a brother and a sister. The statue's plaque states that there are no records of his existence after this. However, descendants of his lineage came back to the city hundreds of years later. According to oral traditions and stories in the city, the founder used his fists to fight, and this is still a custom within House Van Dam to the present day. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got a sword. Let's play that through again. We're just gonna keep on watching bits of this trailer on repeat.
Volume 3 of the
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have a sword. He's got his fists ready to go. I think we've pegged this guy. Well, I think we've figured out that this guy is the founder of House Van Dam. He has a brother and a sister. Fights with his fists. Apparently, he's going to beat in, which I'm assuming we're going to do as this guy in the DLC. Has that answered any questions, though? No, it just raises more. So, who is his grandfather, and how does he die? I guess something else I wanted to draw attention to here is this environment that we're looking at. I'm trying to see in the background here, and I can see elements, like I can see the hand up here. So, this is definitely the donut that is Ionios, right? In the background here must be. But I'm really not seeing any other sort of distinguishing landmarks as we pinch in on this. What I'm trying to figure out is, where is this landmass in comparison to the rest of the game? There's something jutting out over here that looks more man-made, although that could just be an illusion. It's hard to tell from this distance. Something that looks snowy over here. There's the hand in the background. And then as we zoom in, yeah, that's definitely like a snowy area, or maybe beachy. It's white ground, so it's one of those two. And then you can't really see any more of whatever this structure is. This looks like a structure kind of over here, but I'm not entirely sure. I wonder what happens to this territory, because it doesn't appear to be. I guess it could all get, obliviated, as tends to happen in Ionios, or it could have fallen off into the infinite ocean beneath that seems to exist. Okay, well, that's all I've got to say on this. I feel like I've just spent the last, how long have I been recording? 20 minutes rambling. I apologize. Hopefully you got something useful out of it. I'm so excited about this. I wanted to say words. I'm gonna go play more Xenoblade 3 now, because, gosh, there's so much content in that game. Like, I've finished the main story, but there's just so many side quests and ascension quests, and I'm still having a fun time with it. So I'm gonna go back to playing that. Thank you folks for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you later.